Okay, let's do this.
How much time do you think could be devoted to spiritual or religious practice weekly or otherwise occasionally?
All of it for me, as I'm always dreaming. There is no stop to it. So that's 24/7, 365. So all.
And that, of course, would cover the next question, which is just is about the daily. So you definitely don't ascribe to the standardized Christian view of the of these that there's some sort of life that's not sacred, like that's why they ended up with so many monks and professional priests. It's like, oh, you lead a religious life because you get paid for it. It's like, I think that's sort of what defines that not being religious, because it becomes a job. That's why you ended up that's probably that thing. Is it the Book of Revelations, that bit about the the third of the church or something like that?
Yeah,
Revelation. It's really a astrological reference kind of written or something. But the just like the blood and water thing, that's really a thing about women.
Yeah,
the Jesus being pierced in the blood and water. People try to come up with all this stuff about him being freaked out in his heart, or in his heart bursting or something. But it's actually, if you see what it is in the story, it's a reference metaphor to the women.
It's a metaphor. It's the most the
menstruation and childbirth. That's what it's about.
Language is all about metaphor.
And the 3 days in the tomb, that they used to have women go aside for 2-3 days around the new moon, and then the moon the crescent moon appears, and it's time for them to come back, and
Yeah, and also the Bible is problematic for many reasons.
Well, so much of it's a rewrite. I didn't know until a couple years ago that Daniel was a rewrite of something from 1,000 years before.
Yeah, that's correct. There's the Q document, I believe.
I don't know about if they've ever found the Q document or whether it's a thing, but it turns out
there are sources.
None of the letters of Paul are from the 1st century.
Only
John, the only 2 documents were part of John and part of Revelations, which both of those were rewrites.
Yeah, there are
about Bacchus that was 4 centuries prior. The Book of Revelations was written by the guy that we know as Barabbas.
Yeah, but we know nothing about the author. It's a John of Patmos, but it's not John the Baptizer that we know.
Well, the thing we do know of certain is the canonical gospel writers were not the ones mentioned as characters in the book. They wrote about it like it was a 3rd generation text. So
it's from later.
So for the most part, things being written between 120 to 150 in their first versions, and then edited for another
after the death of the Nazarenes, the true disciples of Christ.
Apollonius had to die for Christianity to take off. But that's another thing entirely. But the okay, so you see this, you see I've altered your meme a bit, your graphic. I'm trying to find. So
let me check
your Twitter name. What is the significance of the 909 dnthrm?
Yes, that's the 909 is gematria for those vowels, I believe, and that's something that came through in my dreams. That's my real name, and I do not know what it means. I don't know if it's a type of a species. My latest theory on what this is that it is self-propagation, and that I'm supposed to start a new universe.
And that's so speaking of a new name, in the language which I'm called Ihar Hahu. Okay, what's the rest? Pumluk. Pumluch, Gnuit, Skiba. Messed up my own name there, but So for a year, I don't. I think it's 3 years, maybe 4 years ago. I started getting these chants and stuff in this language, and at first it was just hundreds of chants related to certain beings and stuff like this. And it's like I didn't know what any of it meant, and then I started getting what it meant, and then I could, oh, that totally makes sense why this word's in that chant versus the other one. And but typically people end up getting these 9-syllable ones. Now, one dude only had 8, and I don't know why he had 8 versus other people.
Yeah.
So to get your impression before I look up and see what any of this means here, what Facine Nati Oro Kiv Evenerv Num Mam Wum. Oh, I couldn't see it quite too well, but yeah. So that is the name that came through for you. So, what's your impression of that?
It's a sense of deja vu. I've heard these words. It's like we are related in some way. A part of me is like this as well. I cannot explain it. There's just it resonates with me. I don't know why. It's amazing, really.
So, really one word there is nati, which is the evening, and by evening I mean the twilight that starts with the sunset. So the twilight until dusk. Nowadays, people don't know what dusk and dawn are for some reason, but by dusk and dawn, I of course mean when the twilight ends or appears.
Yes, it used to be indicated in weather reports when the twilight was. They omitted these days, but yes, I know the twilight. I'm very familiar with it.
So that's what the one. That's what the one word there means.
Oh my.
Because I have my little book that I've came up with my little notes here, and as I was saying, things are disappearing. You don't see me. You don't see me on the screen there, and you don't see my thing. I have a book. I'm waving in front of the camera, and it's not showing it. So I'm basically going to stop trying with that. So
half dreaming right now.
Okay.
You should really interview me when I'm fully dreaming. Can you do that for me?
Okay. What?
Come again, please.
You said something and I missed it.
Now, can you interview me again when I'm fully dreaming? I can let you know when. I can remain in this dream state for a lot of hours, so I can wait for you to be there, if that's all right with you, because I will give different answers, and I really want to get the best out of this. We only have limited time on Earth, so I just want to get as much information out there. And I resonate with you in some way. I don't know why.
And Eve nerve is about connecting the female principle. Num is the 19th. So the number 19, it shows up there. I'm not finding the word, so I'll just move on to some.
It's fine. It's fine.
Further questions.
Oh my, these words are like, it's like a feeling of recognition, deja vu. It's like, I don't know exactly what they mean, but if I'm in the correct state of mind, I can just understand freely. But I need to be in a dream state for that, like a specific dream state. And well, I can do the whole fasting for days.
So you mentioned dream states.
Yes, that's my bread and butter, dream states.
Have you had any other sort of spiritual experience. Now, of course, context.
Near death experience. Like not long ago, like my heart stopped for a while. I saw the void again, and it was reminded, and then I was pulled back, and my heart's racing, and I'm, like alive again. And I was still delirious. I had taken poison. It was a central anticholinergic delirium, central nervous system, like in the brain, not my peripheral nerves that were not an issue. So it's a nicotinic anticholinergic that I took on accident. It was synthetic THC, which when smoked, it gives a new product with pyrolysis. I'm not sure what the product is. I'm still researching it, but I'm sure it has something to do.
Well, that's a lot of the problem.
Synthetic THC, I believe, is part of a weapons program, a chemical weapons program, because it can be
the artificial marijuana stuff was actually based on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a chemical weapons program. In any case, I was poisoned. I nearly died. I called the ambulance. They gave me phytostigmine to reverse the effects. I also started remembering things after they gave me the phytostigmine. It was like,
and now you can't see, but one of the interesting things, I think I may have mentioned it to you before. What is it, anandadine or something like that? The most universally beneficial chemical in marijuana. The most universally beneficial chemical in marijuana is actually in pears. It's in apples. If you get a certain health, certain stuff you can produce. So it's interesting. Your body it's like people who are like think these states of consciousness are evil or whatever they're going to call it. It's like it's like our bodies do that. We don't even have to do these drugs. Our bodies do that. But they don't. But that's the thing. You don't lay around and do the same thing for weeks at a time. You have to be disciplined. You have to. So when you do it, you go through the meditation, you're going through this process and you're ready for those experiences. You're not just you're not just laying down in a K-hole waiting for hoping that no one's going to misuse you.
Yeah, but I don't do K-holes, by the way, but at least never. Yeah, I do use ketamine, but in combination with acid, it becomes quite useful, actually. But I won't recommend it for anyone else, because you really need to know what you're doing. Otherwise, it's a nightmare.
You need to know those around you, the sort of or other programming you're with, because people have known for a long time. You get somebody drunk or high, and then you sing to them or whatever, and it makes whatever you want them to do easier.
Yeah, you have to be really careful with that. I'm always alone, so I make sure that there's no people messing with me, because that's very dangerous. They can really mess with your head if you're on these because you open yourself up, but you have to know what you're doing. And I just instinctively know how to dream. It's like I just use them as shortcuts. I don't even really need drugs. I can just sit there and stare, and the dreams will come to me, and I can just stay like that for hours. But
like one of the things you may have seen, that one of the numbers that I draw attention to particularly. I mean, I haven't done like what I did want with my 603 score and 6 playlist. That was probably the most comprehensive thing that I've more comprehensive than anything I could ever find on it. But who knows? Maybe somebody else has done more on it. But the 333 is probably a more important number for me. I just figured when my age, you add the numbers 1 to 36 up, you get 666. So I figured when I was 36 years old, I'm going to churches, I'm going to other places, I'm using these as the background, I'm doing research on the number, I'm getting my 603 score or six stuff out. This is the time.
Yeah.
And who, but the 333, one of the things is that what happens after 3 minutes in the dark? You get about a third of your night vision. After another 30 minutes, you get another third. And after 3 hours, in addition to that, so 3 hours and 33 minutes in the dark, and you get your full night vision. And that's why it's important to not only you get into the practice of going to sleep as a spiritual practice. I think I mentioned I do a lot of Enochian magic and other similar stuff. But the thing is, it's most of what I do. It's not. It's more like contemplative readings. Like my sleep practices are centered around. I chant some verses or something, and then I go to sleep. I go to sleep in the state and stuff like that.
As well. I do this as well. Actually, I also have the
But when you wake up after being asleep for 3.5 hours or so, you can see in the dark like you can never see in the dark. Now
my vision in the dark, it becomes snowy. It's like I see static. And I see patterns in the static when I wake up. I used to have this as a child so often. I would wake up in the middle of the night. I would see static. I would see lines and patterns, and I still do actually. It's because I don't even have to go to sleep anymore. I see them all the time now. It's become a permanent part of my vision. I'm permanently dreaming. It's like.
And one of the interesting things to do to categorize either in a waking ritual or whether it's through sleep, you categorize, okay, I've had this experience before and this experience before, and maybe sometimes you kind of stop, and then every so often something new comes in. Like I remember when it's like you always talk about out of body experiences, and you go up or out or something, and it's like sometimes I would go down, and it's not like I'm down there with the devils and pitchforks and all that stuff, or something like that. That's just your projected idea. It's even that's not quite like that.
That's just your brain trying to make sense of the information that's coming in.
You find out that other people have that experience.
Yeah, it's shared among them.
And some of the stuff, it's like they can't prove that there's dark matter, dark energy. It's just calculation-wise, it makes total sense. But then again, since recorded history has started, and since the oral traditions that sometimes probably go back even millions of years, some of them, there's reason to think that that some of these oral traditions actually may go back thousands, even millions of years. They find out. I can tell you straight up, you can have experiences. It's like there's this other. It's not some physical thing on you, but then again, it's like that. It's like you're being pressed in from every direction. Or you become expansive in every direction out, and it's not just some Kabbalistic. I'm keep disappearing from the screen, and it's throwing me off. Just like I was keep trying to read the screen, and then the screen wouldn't show. So excuse me for that. But in Kabbalah, you have the Yesud, and you have the crushing, and you have the dot, which is the expansiveness. So those two experiences can come on you, just like all these drug-like experiences. Some of them can merge together all at once, but you definitely don't want to do be speedballing or something just to have this experience. You want to figure out how to have the warm uprising and the cool flowing down, and it's euphoric pain relief, like in the hospital when they give you a little bit more than you need of your painkiller before with your surgery or whatever. You reach that level of state, but you don't, and then you can learn, like if you've ever been part of Sufi or some other trance dancing or something like that.
I do a lot of hypnosis as well.
They kind of one of the things they often have somebody going around the circle or the group or something, making sure that people don't fall and hurt themselves or whatever. But once you get used to it, you flop like a rag doll, but you're still standing.
Yeah, I know. I do a lot of hypnosis as well. So a lot of trancing, self-trance, guided meditation, that sort of thing. Like I do a lot of work like that as well. Like yeah, um, I use audiovisual ways to get me to this state. Like there's like strobes and spirals and things like this.
Now,
I make them myself, so I don't use any there's like a lot of videos online and I don't trust them because
well,
they
some of the stuff is some things that some people can handle and some can, and it's not surely about weakness or something. Somebody was telling me that
yeah
well, they've done
uh,
PCP repeatedly, and it's like because they have a super strong mind. And
yeah
I don't know about that, dude. I would not. But I mean, PCP has a worse. A lot of that stuff, it's adulterance and context that makes things even more
yeah
dangerous.
yeah, but you need to get like you need to get it legally. You need to get medical quality
Yeah,
pieces.
and it's still on the books in my country. A lot of places you can still get up to 5 years if they want to give you 5 years. They
Really?
probably won't, but they're going to give
Oh
somebody.
yeah, no,
Somebody's going
my
to get 5 years for
jurisdiction.
possessing that stuff, and that you don't want it to
Oh
be you.
yeah, my jurisdiction is very liberal when it comes to drugs. It's like they don't go after people who use them. They only go after the producers, and even then, not really because
Well, that's who they go after. Is they go after the middlemen. In my
they
country,
don't
they go
go.
after the
Yeah, the
middlemen, and they
middleman.
leave the
Yeah,
other guys alone. And
the bosses are untouchable because they're
they
power.
find some poor people left and right to give they give
Yeah,
minor charges
yeah,
here and there all over the
yeah.
place.
That's the
Um,
low hanging fruit. Yeah, yeah, I
but
know.
see that and that but that's the thing. It's like, oh, what, oh, you can smoke and drink yourself to death, but other drugs are wrong. Um,
But you can get it here. You can get here legally. A lot of things you can get here legally for research purposes. That's a
well,
loophole.
I for one, Bayer had decided. I don't want to. Okay, I don't want to have this thing flagged for having actual medical information. But anyways, so a lot of the things, it's not about safety. It's again, what's more profitable. So they push for something else that they can make more money on. Um,
Yeah.
but okay. So mentioning states, do you use any of these states to accomplish anything in terms of like prophecy or miracle, or um,
I
are
use
there
it.
are there beings that like are inner or outer guides that are part of it, or what?
Definitely. I ask for advice if I'm dealing with someone. I deal with a lot of strange people, and sometimes these people can be threatening. Like I tend to attract like sociopaths and psychopaths, and it's usually something related to them. I'm trying to help them to make their lives, better, but it's usually centered around helping other people. That's the most you use for it. I'm for myself. It's just it's very comfortable for me to be in states like that. It's like pain relief. I'm like always suffering basically.
Well, that's one of the main things that I deliver. It's like I don't do my mystical practices for the high, but honestly, if I'm
No,
targeting a
no,
high, I'm
no,
targeting pain
never
relief.
high. High is not my is the drug culture is a turn
No,
off for me.
that's what I mean. But
Um,
I target the pain relief
yeah,
because
yeah, that
I
yeah,
shake in pain every day, so I target
yeah,
the pain relief.
yeah. The
And it
same for me.
and at least and after you're used after it becomes more reliable, it's
Yeah,
so much more reliable than taking a pill.
yeah. Well,
Um,
yeah, these dream states are difficult to achieve, and I cannot always get in the right mindset because of my brain is just so chaotic, and sometimes I
well,
just need
the
a
thing I figured
button.
about dream states is it's like, okay, particularly I guess I need more than average to be a right, as
Hmm.
at least as far as I'm going to be. um
Hmm.
I figure that's well, it's obviously going to be less than a third because there's plenty of days where I don't get enough sleep. Even in the good conditions, there's all other, but you know, that's about a third of your life, right? A third of your life where it's like what it's wasted. But then again, if you make it part of your spirituality, it's there. That's just a third of your life, just and then it becomes easier with the other because it's like, okay, I go to sleep and wake up doing these practices, and then
sleep doesn't mean it's spent idly. I do a lot of things in my sleep, actually.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is the consciousness attached to it rather than it's just something that you just go through, just like you're eating. Yeah, just like eating and drinking can be completely unspiritual or it can be completely spiritual. It's up to the person who does it.
You're right. But sleeping for me is I'm always asleep and it's like, for example, mescaline puts me to sleep. You know peyote? The cacti,
I'm familiar with buttons. I'm not as I'm saying, I try to reach these states without the stuff and
again, but this puts me to sleep.
I'm familiar with peyote, about buttons and all that.
And it puts me to sleep. When I took it, usually it's supposed to be stimulating, but when I took it, I went straight to sleep. I had I had a dream. It revealed something to me. It revealed to me that my father abused me sexually when I was a baby. Basically, that's the source that made it clear to me. He was possessed at the time. He was doing it in a state of seizure, and so he was possessed at the time. It's the occult, like I said, and mescaline, it has the opposite effect on me as opposed to normal people or regular people or most people, because it just puts me to sleep, and sleeping pills wake me up. And I know you can get to these states without using drugs, like I said. But I think any method is valid if you use meditation or chants or fasting.
Well, if you're familiar with the nature of what's more related to what I share on Twitter, I'm not completely sharing my YouTube channel on Twitter, but what I share on Twitter, the particular group that I mentioned there, and I don't mean Unicult. I mean Temple of Blood is one of the things that we do. We train to use whatever situation is, whether it's our situation or another situation. We use the energy and the legacy, the memory and whatnot. But the not that we necessarily have to go abuse ourselves or some stuff like that. But we use what is. We use our past. We use whether it's trauma or whatever it is. We use that. So we don't. So you don't have to. But what I'm saying about the using of states is, because I target this as I physical pain, so I target what relieves the physical pain and there are various other things, but I've had the experiences in the waking life quite a bit. And the experiences in the waking life, it's the same thing. They usually come, but it's more about the mystical practice than it is about the getting high. That's what I meant. The high happens, and you can, but you explore it. Those 50 some odd chemicals that do all the stuff that people take drugs for, all those highs are available. But the thing is, there are different states. There's different sensual states, different psychiatric approaches.
And like, for example, even anesthetics have the same effect. Like if you take cyclopropane or what's it called? The earlier anesthetics, they only act on one half of the inhibitory system, the same as ketamine, and they all have this dreamy effect. And even
Well,
protocol.
a lot of stuff that used to be like, whether it's through medicine or otherwise, the drug was part of it, but not the whole thing. You had to do some work.
Yeah.
In a way of speaking. You may have been laying in a bed and they were going to cut into your leg or whatever, but you had to
Yeah.
do part of the work in some way or another, and that kind of mentality kind of stepped aside.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I of course found you because I was looking for people who joined Unicult. So
Yeah.
what was your reasoning behind that?
No, that was, well, I was groomed. Yeah, it might sound great. I was groomed to be in Unicode. Was in a server, in a Discord server for a long time, for quite some time, and they just manipulated me. Like, it started out with me being sexually harassed by one of their members.
So were
And
you the Lilith a couple years back in the Discord, or
yeah, that would be me. No. There were more or less. I was Claudia in the Discord.
okay? Yeah,
Claudia,
I'm not on the Discord because
no,
I'll
they
show
don't.
you I'll show you the meme. I joined the Unibrow. It's like Unicole still has no idea why of anything I said.
Yeah, no.
I've asked, and she says she doesn't have any idea what I said. I just must have said something. So I shared this meme in the Unibrunch, and it sounded like I got along with everybody there, and I shared
Yeah.
this meme,
Oh yeah.
and it's like it's your books, it's your VHS. I didn't buy that VHS because I didn't really want to see her pump a tree and lick a plant
Yeah,
and the other part.
yeah.
But
Unicode.
I didn't mean this out of disrespect. These are actual pictures of.
Yeah, she did the porn thing. Yeah, well, so did I.
But
She's what me.
just like the other meme that I've it's the other meme's
Yeah,
just an edited form. This one's just an edited form of one of the official Unicron memes.
yeah,
I
yeah,
just
yeah.
circled some stuff out. I added, okay, she's making a
I know
point.
what you did.
Unicole's was making a point of saying that she was a Christian too. So I wrote in the word Christian, and I wrote in the world Unicultist, and I I added in
Yeah,
the other books that weren't included into the meme.
yeah.
So it wasn't done out of but I don't know, why, but I hear that most people who joined are not included on that are not allowed on the Discord either. So
Yeah.
so that's the thing. But well, you said you were on the Discord, so obviously it's just $11, but the
Yeah, the
of course
Discord,
people tend to buy something as part of it else. Oh, I want the book and all that other stuff, and that's what I did too.
is
But
a mess.
what?
The Discord is a mess. I believe half of the people in her Discord aren't even real. They are bots. She has a lot of bots, I'm telling you.
Oh, well, so, one of the recent videos said that that says that she used to do that for a living at some point.
Yeah, but
Is
she
to
still
compose that
does
stuff.
it. She still does it. I
Well,
know
there,
she uses GPT-3, and I know she
and
trains.
I hear something like somewhere between 100 and 200 people or something been kicked off the Discord or something.
Yeah,
Um,
she
and
doesn't allow any.
27 people have been at least 27 people, because that's who told me. 27 people told me that Unicole personally said not to talk to me, and it's like, why?
Wow.
It's like,
But she's a narcissist though. Like she's a
if you
psychopath.
heard what happened with Jeremy, about the physical violence and that sort of
Yeah,
stuff, and
yeah,
that's
but she's really dark. Like if you see behind her, she's got darkness. She's got serious darkness. I can tell.
Well, I joined because I thought, I thought, okay, I don't necessarily have to agree with everything,
Yeah,
whatever, and I don't necessarily feel like it's like my point's not to argue or anything,
the same.
like
I
that.
was the same.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I get in plenty of arguments, but my point would have been it's like I have a comparative religion thing, and if you've seen my channel playlists, I
Still
talk
catching up. I'm
everything's
still
off it.
catching up to your channel. You're very interesting to me.
It's sort of a stop all whatever, because it's my so if you like what I do 1 month, don't worry, I've done it before. I've gone in that subject before. I'll go into it again, particularly if somebody points it out. You don't have enough Taoist content on your channel. We want more Taoist content, and it's like, okay, I'll put it on the list for next year too. Then, but the but what was I saying? So I thought it was a place where somebody who's basically who's a comparative religion scholar, if that is what they probably call me, and somebody who actually practices it.
Yeah.
But of course, people it's like, oh, so you're like Crowley. It's like, well, I don't do everything that Crowley did. Certainly, if you read about Crowley in the 10th After, I'm not Sodom. I'm not saying I'm not going out in the desert with people.
Cats and shit
I'm
like
not going out in the desert and telling people to sodomize me until I go blind for a few seconds. And we have to kill a bird and spread it over the. But that's what they do in the Bible too. Not the sodomy part, but that's what they do in the Bible. Remember, there's that part in the Bible where they're like, you take this bird and you smear it about, and you use a yam or something like that too. It's like, so it's voodoo. No, it's not.
Yeah, it's kind of a blood ritual and animalistic.
So it's a sympathetic magic thing.
Oh yeah. Well, I can already tell you that this has consequences.
But I basically, it's like what when I was younger, there was Prince. Now I don't have any Prince albums or something, whatever. But now that there's internet, you can just look up anything anytime.
Yeah.
Of course, Prince made it hard. Once Prince died, it was like all his music's coming out, and even the stuff that's like, I don't feel right about that stuff. I'm keeping that stuff in the vaults. Keeping it in the vaults meant that after he died, they started releasing all the stuff he said, I don't feel right. This is not right. I'm putting that part of my career behind me. So since he didn't destroy it, all the stuff they didn't, regretted is coming out. But I'm still subscribed to that channel, by the way. But of course, I listen to Poppy stuff too. So that probably you see that before. You can see on my channel, I made a video about trying to make more of a spiritual message out of the whole Poppy situation. But now Poppy rocks. I didn't know Poppy switched to this like metal thing.
It's weird, huh? You're not the only one who mentioned Poppy to me. A friend of mine also did. Like, he was also into Poppy. This is a weird synchronicity.
But yeah, I thought it was a place. It's like in my near-death experiences and some of the worst moments of my life otherwise, it was like there was graves there. A particular sort of being, and I felt like, in a way, some way, it's like a trainer or something. So that's why I got into the whole Drill Sergeant Gray thing, because that made sense to me. So I thought Unicult was a place that I could talk about aliens and crystals and numbers, but I can only quote Unicult on the Discord, I guess. I can't. And I do stuff with astrology and all sorts of stuff. Not necessarily. I'm not somebody who's like trying to make a living off of guessing people's future by shuffling cards. Oh, that's something, if we talk in the future, we can possibly do. I do have some decks of cards that we can.
Oh, that's always nice. I like tarot. I like cards. I like numbers. Everything is
yeah. Everything's a symbolic framework that we can use with.
Come again, please.
Everything's a symbolic framework that we can interpret, that we can use in our relationship with